Hey, do you want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating right now. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take your conversation with your fans to the next level, Q&A and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. I've hosted my podcast on Spotify for Podcasters since day one, so I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. We've all heard of red flags and even beige flags, but what about green flags? In my early 20s, I was caught up in a cycle of focusing on the negatives, constantly on the lookout for red flags because I was afraid to get hurt and I thought they truly lead me to Mr. Right. But I recently found out that it's the subtle green flags that bring joy, understanding, and growth in partnership. What is going on, beautiful people? You are listening to the Affirmations for Black Girls podcast, where we focus on personal growth and cultivating a healthy relationship with ourselves. I am your host, TYRA, the creative actress, content creator, and mental health enthusiast. And y'all, this is a previously recorded episode about green flags that was originally for the subscriber community. But as some of you guys know, we no longer have that feature at the moment for this podcast. So I wanted to share this episode with all of you beautiful people who have not yet heard it. This episode is also accompanied by a free green flags worksheet that I made for you guys that is linked down below in the show notes. And I highly recommend you download it now and fill it out as you listen to this episode. But if you're driving, download it later and fill it out when you have some alone time with yourself. So fill it out if you can as you listen to this episode, because I'm a visual girl and I love writing down any lists that I need and revisiting it later. And I think that's a very powerful tool, especially in dating and in relationships. Now, before we dive right on in, let's jump into our affirmation of the week. This week's affirmation is: I trust that I will make good choices in romantic relationships. Ooh, that just hit me. If you can drop in and close your eyes, let's drop in and close our eyes. I trust that I will make good choices in romantic relationships. I trust that I will make good choices in romantic relationships. I trust that I will make good choices in romantic relationships. I trust that I will make good choices in romantic relationships. I trust that I will make good choices in romantic relationships. What do those good choices look like? How do they make you feel? Truly envision yourself making these good choices in romantic relationships. Now let's say it one more time together. I trust that I will make good choices in romantic relationships. So I was just scrolling through Instagram just now and I came across this post on Millennial Therapist. If y'all don't follow that profile, I think y'all should because they always have such good posts. But I came across this post about relationship green flags. We always talk about red flags, but green flags are never something that we inherently think of first when we're looking for a partner. We're looking for, okay, what's wrong with them so I can get my no, so I can go ahead and move on. Well, at least that's how I be doing it. So if y'all do it the same way, then we need to be looking at these relationship green flags. So there's 11 relationship green flags on here, and I just really wanted to share this post with y'all. I will also link the actual post itself in the show notes down below for y'all so you can look at it. But the first one is the first relationship green flag, and they're in no kind of order, I don't think. But the first one is they apologize when they are wrong. Y'all, first of all, not me already seeing that I don't do this and that's a red flag, but something that I didn't do for the longest, and I'm starting to do that now that I'm dating someone new. I am really trying to be the best version of myself and really check my ego at the door. And I think this is a huge one for checking your ego at the door, but because apologizing when you are wrong, like that's huge. Normally, when I'm wrong or I've noticed in certain situations and past relationships that I have been in, if I were wrong or the other person was wrong, we wouldn't necessarily say, hey, I was wrong. But we would do little things like, I went to the store and got you some ice cream, or even ask, are you still mad at me? And just try to like glaze over the situation. But when a partner apologizes when they are wrong, green flag. The next one is their words and behaviors align. Y'all, that was a huge one for me in my previous relationship. The words and behavior did not align. The words was great, but the behavior obviously was not great. And I'm saying obvious because I'm saying that they didn't align, but the words were great and the actions did not measure up to the promises and the words that were being shared with your girl at the time. So if they are aligning their behaviors and their words, that's something to celebrate. The next one is they encourage your connections with others, friends, and family. I've been in relationships where we never really talked about my family. Like, and granted, I just thought it was because I lived on the East Coast or I lived on the West Coast and my family was in the South. So I was never really around my family. But, and I'm going to keep bringing it back since we're talking about relationships, I'm going to keep bringing it back to the current situation that I am in. Ooh, I should not call it a situation because it is not a situation. But we aren't official yet. We're still in the early dating phase. So in this current relationship that I am building with this wonderful man, he encourages my connections with friends and family as much as, he can at this point. And I noticed in myself that I'm actually interested in getting to know his friends and getting to know his family. And he has a brother who lives out here. And the other day I was just like, hey, you want to go see your brother? I know he lives kind of far away. We can make a day out of it or whatever the case may be, just providing that space for him to share his friends and family with me or not, like asking questions about them and just encouraging him to build and foster those relationships. Green flag. The next one is they make you feel seen, heard, and appreciated. Oh, that is such a huge green flag, y'all. Before this relationship that I am building, I didn't necessarily know what it meant to feel seen. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, you see me, obviously, but feeling seen and feeling heard, that is so refreshing in this new relationship. And I think the simple way to put it to see if you feel seen and heard is think about the eye contact. Think about the things that this person is saying to you. Are they bringing things up that you mentioned to them one time? Are they encouraging you to do things that you may have said in passing? For me, it's the little things for me feeling heard, because I can scream at the top of my lungs something out loud, and of course somebody will hear me. But those little nuanced things, like if I just said, oh, I really want, I don't know, I really want a new water bottle. And they show up with the water bottle that I may have said, oh my God, that's so cute in passing. That, for me personally, is feeling heard. And the feeling seen, I was actually just talking to my guy about this, how I feel seen in this relationship that we're building, because the eye contact, at first, y'all, I ain't even gonna lie, I was a little bit uncomfortable because I was like, why is this man always looking me in my eyes? But that was because I was not used to that type of intimacy. I was not used to looking someone in the eye so much. I was not used to someone fully giving me their undivided attention. So that is, for me, one of the biggest green flags. The next green flag is they communicate clearly and honestly. Such a huge thing. And it's honestly, y'all, it's hard to come by these days. People who communicate clearly and honestly and without sugarcoating it. So if you're feeling some type of way, like even if it's something that you think may hurt someone's feelings, as long as you're saying it in a nice way, you're not being rude and you're not being mean on purposefully, you have to communicate honestly. And that is so hard to come by these days because people want to people please and they want to just, I don't even know, like put their best foot forward. But when you communicate honestly and clearly and authentically to you, that is such a great green flag. Do you know what July 11th and 12th are? Y'all, it is Amazon Prime Day, where you can shop a ton of deals that are almost too good to be true. But the only way to redeem these deals is to have Amazon Prime. So click the link down below in the show notes to get a 30-day free trial, y'all. Now, I've had Prime for almost 6 years now, and I get same day, 1 day, and 2-day free shipping on my purchases and other perks like Amazon Prime Video, which has some really good shows right now. Like Megan Good's new show Harlem is on there, and there's also this other show called Upgrade about this guy whose consciousness was uploaded into a virtual world, then he falls in love, and all right, I'm off topic. Anyway, y'all, Amazon is not sponsoring this episode, but Amazon Prime Day is almost here, and I wanted to make sure that y'all were equipped because the deals are so good. And it only happens once a year. The deals are so good. So go ahead and sign up for Amazon Prime for your 30-day free trial. And you can save on things like electronics, back to school supplies, workout clothes. I even saw a link for small businesses where they had a lot of Prime Day deals. Now, I also want you guys to listen very carefully. If you have an EBT card, click the link down below in the show notes that specifically says EBT to enter your card information, which you can use on the entire Amazon website to buy food. And you'll also get 50% off of your Prime membership after your 30-day free trial. Now, I used to have EBT, and trust me, it works, and it was a pretty good deal. Prime is normally $139 per year. After your trial, of course, you get your free 30 days, but you can cancel it before that 30 days is up if you didn't love having it. So again, like I said, Amazon Prime Day is coming up. It's July 11th and 12th. This is not sponsored by Amazon, but I want to make sure that y'all are prepared because the deals are dealing, honey. Okay, so click the links down below in the show notes, and let's get back into the episode. The next one is they show up authentically and offer you space to do the same. Y'all, that is a green flag. Now, what could that look like for those of you who may not know what that looks like? When someone shows up authentically, you know without a doubt that they're being real, raw, and regular. And that's why I always say this on this podcast. Like, I keep it real, raw, and regular all the time because that is so important for people to really get to know who you are. I went to see a play. My friend did, he created a play called Transparency. And in it, one of the characters was saying, people think that dating in LA is hard and all of this, but maybe it's because people are asking the wrong questions and people always want to put their best foot forward at all times. They don't want to show those uglier parts of themselves or the parts that they're not comfortable with. And just imagine if you did that from day one, you showed up as yourself authentically, you will feel so free. You will feel so happy and content with yourself because you're not hiding pieces of yourself. So when somebody is showing up authentically for you, that means one, that they feel safe around you. So you should feel so you should take pride in that, in a sense of like, wow, like this person is actually trying to get to know me. They want me to get to know them for who they are and nothing but who they are. So you should be excited about that. And that's also a green flag for you to do the same, showing up authentically as yourself, showing everything, pulling back that curtain and just saying, hey, this is TYRA. The good, the bad, the ugly. You about to get all of it because this is who I'm going to be. Let's see. The next one is they are intentional about resolving conflict. Now, this is going to piggyback off of the first one, apologizing when they're wrong, how I said that. Now, when you are intentional about resolving conflict, we going to nip it in the bud. We going to talk about it regardless of how uncomfortable that situation may be, because a lot of times, especially in the Black community, like I said, oh, I bought you some ice cream, whatever, like we glaze over the actual problem and we just bury it and bury it and bury it rather than digging it up and actually taking it apart root by root to get to the root of the cause. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great green flag when people or whoever you want to be in relation with are intentional about resolving conflict. The next one is they are actively working on growing and healing. First of all, growing and healing is a never ending process. There's always room to grow and there's always something to heal from. And sometimes people could think that like healing is like this big thing, like, oh, this super traumatic thing happened to you and you have to heal from it. But no, not necessarily. Like you can heal from a relationship that has ended. You could heal from the idea of your life. What I mean by that is you may have had an idea of how you wanted your life to go, and then it changed completely. Whether you're happy about it or sad about it, there's still that little grieving process for something that once was or something that you once thought would be. So when you think about healing, I personally think that we're always growing and healing. So that is definitely a great green flag. The next one is, ooh, y'all. The next relationship green flag, they speak about their ex-partners with respect. Now, I never even thought about that, y'all. And you know what? I'm glad that I speak about my ex in a respectful way. I really am, because I just started to do it. And sometimes you don't always do that. And I'm not even at the beginning, I did not speak about him in a great way. I didn't speak about him in a horrible way, but now I definitely do, especially when it comes to dating other men. And if the conversation comes up about any of my exes or any experiences I've had in previous relationships, I want to make sure that I am speaking about them with respect, because think about it the other way around. If they speaking about their ex-girlfriend in a crazy way, the first thing in my mind is, dang, okay, well, if we get together and then don't work out, he gonna be dragging my name through the mud. And first of all, Tyra is an actress. Tyra is going to be somebody in this world, so I don't need anybody that has been a part of my life, crossed paths with me, gotten to know me on an intimate level, that is going to be dragging my name through the mud or just throwing shade at me if our relationship doesn't work out, regardless of what happens. And that's why these relationship green flags are so important to note, because you can nip that in the bud early if they are not apologizing when they're wrong, and if they don't communicate clearly and honestly about how they feel, and all of these other things that I'm saying. If they do the opposite of this, girl, you gotta let them go. The last relationship green flag is they share compatible goals for the relationship. We didn't talk about this on the podcast before, y'all. Y'all got to talk about them non-negotiables. What's non-negotiable? And I'm not perfect. And I go back and listen to my podcast episodes and I say, okay, Tyra, what did you say to these people that you need to continue to implement into your life? Non-negotiables is hard for me. I'm not even going to lie. Like, me and my current guy have talked about non-negotiables, but every time we talk about it, my heart kind of drops a little bit because I'm like, oh, but that's because I've never been in a place where my non-negotiables were honored by me. By me. It doesn't matter about the other person, but at the end of the day, y'all have to be compatible and on the same page as far as your intention behind the relationship. Is your intention marriage? Is your intention just dating? Is your intention to just have fun? But the green flag of it is to be on the same page about the relationship as a whole. So I hope you guys have learned something from these relationship green flags. I do not want to talk about any red flags in this one. I may do, another little bonus real chat about the red flags, because they do have some on this same little post. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little real chat. And I actually have a little exercise that I want y'all to do. Write down some relationship green flags that you want to make sure you are paying special attention to. You can write down these that I gave you already, but try to think of some on your own. What are some other green flags that you want to look for in a relationship that can be tailored to you? Like for me, a relationship green flag for me that may not pertain to other people is that he must believe in God. Or that is also a non-negotiable, but a green flag would be something like he stands strong in his faith. A green flag for me. He stands strong in his faith. So just think about some things that are relationship green flags, or, look some up and keep those in your mind while you guys are out here dating. You guys, you know what time it is. It is time for our fun closing segment. Now, this episode was previously recorded, and it was also for the subscriber community, so we didn't have all of the bells and whistles on it of a normal episode. So today's fun closing segment, we are going to do recommendation of the day. Yay. Okay. And you guys, today's recommendation, I got one, well, technically two, but one recommendation for y'all. My recommendation of the day for y'all is to get an Amazon Prime membership. I know this episode had like a little kind of ad like thing. Like I said, it's not sponsored by Amazon. I wanted to share that with y'all because the deals are so good and they are dealing, right? But you have to get an Amazon Prime membership. If you already have an Amazon Prime membership, go you. I've also created in the show notes below, you can click on my Amazon storefront, and I've saved some of my favorite deals. Now, depending on when you're listening to this episode, if it's before July 11th and 12th, or if it's on those days, they have different deals that just pop up for the day. So definitely click the link down below and go to the Amazon website and see what daily deals they have. You can save, like, literally, you guys, there's so many deals. Like, it's actually insane. Right now, Amazon Echoes are up to 65% off, and I absolutely love my I have an Amazon Echo Show. I have 2 of the Echo Dots. I absolutely love them. They literally are my personal assistants. They're so great, and they're up to 65% off right now. There's also deals on TVs, furniture, kitchen appliances. Like I said earlier, back to school supplies, like school about to start, Trent about to go back to college, all the things. Get the stuff now while it's on sale. So my personal goal with the Amazon Prime Day is to finish decorating my home. I mentioned this last week, but I just re-signed my lease in my apartment. So I signed for 2 more years, and I'm going to be here for 2 years. So it's time to make this house a home. So like I said, I made a list of my favorite Prime Day deals that you may love too. So click the link down below that says Prime Day deals list, and you can shop mine because it's honestly a lot of deals and there's a lot of stuff to sift through. So if you would like to start with my list and then peruse after that, be my guest. But yes, that's my recommendation of the day. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'm super excited to share it with the entire AFBG family. If you were a part of the subscriber community, thank you so much for being a part of it. You guys was rocking with me through thick and thin as we navigated that more primitive system. So hopefully in the future, Spotify is able to just transform that portion of the podcast platform that they have. And I would love to bring it back in the future. But for now, we all chilling like villains together. But thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you rate the podcast and leave a review. Y'all's reviews really be like bringing tears to my eyes. Like, y'all don't know how much you actually pour into me with your reviews, leaving me emails. Like, thank you guys so much. So continue leaving the reviews, continue rating the podcast. It also helps get the podcast out to so many more people. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening platform. Follow us on Instagram at Affirmations for Black Girls, on Twitter at AFBG_podcast, on YouTube at Affirmations for Black Girls. And y'all, we even have a Threads account. You know that stuff is new. Get you a Threads account and then follow us on Threads, because we're trying to navigate that world as well as our world of social media continues to evolve and change on a day-to-day basis. So once again, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure y'all check out Amazon Prime Day, because the deals are dealing. Like, I would not share that with y'all if they wasn't dealing. They are dealing. All right. Thank y'all again, and I'll talk to you again next week. Or actually, no. Oh my gosh, we have Pep Talk Wednesday. I'll talk to you again on Pep Talk Wednesday.